Hey everybody, it's the BKBK Podcast where sports and the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme. I'm your host, Brandon Phillips, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Brian Taylor, Kerry Taylor, and Captain Kyle McKenna. Well, the long-anticipated 2021 NFL Draft has arrived, and we've done multiple episodes about the draft leading up to this moment, even a mock draft, where it seems like draft analysts and even the Jets front office watch our show and take notes on how to think and what to do.
That's right. That's right.
It sure seems that way. However, for today's BKBK episode, what has not been anticipated is this question. How did Zach Wilson become a New York Jet anyway? I mean, how did he become the second pick in the NFL draft? And to answer that, we will have to examine how he got to BYU, which basically paved the way for all of this. We have a special guest today who has the answer to these questions. Our special guest today is a former NFL tight end drafted by the Arizona Cardinals in 2001 out of BYU. He was the last pick of that draft, thus being given the title of Mr. Irrelevant. Ladies and gentlemen, and fans of the BKBK podcast, please welcome my good friend who gives out great kukui nuts, T. Ofahengawe. T, what's up? T, what's up, my man?
What's up? What's up, fellas? What's up, New York?
What's happening?
So guys,
What's happening?
T right now is driving. His signal will get better soon, but T is a good friend of mine. I think we met first in 2013 when I went out there to shoot a pilot with you. Am I right? You know what? He froze up, but he'll be back. All righty?
I'm here. I'm back.
There we go. My man. There you go. So we first met in 2013, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was shooting a pilot out there with you and your lovely family. Please do me a favor. Give them my regards. And then this is the time that T gave me this kukui nuts with these Jamaican colors.
Nice.
So we have a full show today because we're going to examine the Jets pick while also following live what the Jets are doing in rounds 4 through 7 with their remaining picks. But first, let's talk about T, who he is, and how he helped Zach Wilson get to where he is. So T, first and foremost, talk to me about you, your time at BYU, and let our audience know who you are, my brother.
Okay. Yep. My name is Tavita Ofahengawe, but T works. It's just like saying Smith and just adding a few vowels, and so here I am. But I've been in this recruiting thing for a long time, for probably 20 plus years. And when the head coach got hired at BYU, who's my cousin, he asked me to come and help him with recruiting. So that's how I kind of ended up at BYU. And that's the whole recruiting thing. And you want to get to how Zach came about, or?
Yeah, sure. I mean, listen, Zach Wilson is the number 2 pick in the draft. He's the highest quarterback, since Joe Namath that the Jets have picked. And, this is basically going to change our franchise. So, yes, absolutely. Let's talk about how Zach Wilson was recruited, and I think recruited by you directly. Talk about that.
Yes. So Zach played on my son's level up 7-on-7 team since he was a sophomore, and he got offered by Boise State, so he committed to Boise State. His parents, his dad, who was a classmate of mine, went to McKinley High School in Hawaii, graduated class of '92, went to University of Utah, and his mom, his beautiful mom, graduated also from University of Utah. So they kind of grew up on the University of Utah fan base. Their whole family was all University of Utah. Yeah. And so when I was at BYU, I don't think they really wanted to come there because they were waiting for Utah to offer. He had committed to Boise State, and he took all of his visits, and he had 2 visits left on the last weekend. And he was going to University of Iowa. And so when I talked to the dad, I asked the dad, can he come up just for a couple of days before he flies out to Iowa? And I think the Iowa coaches found out that he was coming on another trip. And so they kind of just told him, hey, if you don't want to come, we're going to get another quarterback that committed to us. So, you can just stick with your Boise State offer. A commitment. I think he had practice that night, so he was heading to our facilities, and I picked up Mike and his two younger sons, and they came on that trip, and I don't think we sold anything other than the campus and to be closer to him, and that's how I think that's where he actually became what he is now. I think that visit was not. It was different from other visits because we were time crunched. We only had 48 hours rather than the normal 72 hours to recruit him. So, and keep in mind, I personally didn't think that he was what he became now. I knew that he was going to be good, but I didn't think he was going to be great. And I think my son, who told me for 3 years, he said, man, I'm telling you, Zach is going to be the guy. Zach is going to be the guy. And now he's there. And I remember Mike always telling me, like, man, we went to school and, we know each other for a long time. How come you didn't push coming getting my son so early? And I told him that, quarterbacks are hard. Quarterbacks are hard to recruit just in general because there's 100 6'1" quarterbacks out there in the country. It's the 6'5" guys that are more recruited than the 6'1", which is the truth. And so by the time Zach, actually committed and gone, so that's kind of the story behind his recruiting to BYU.
Right.
So
listen, I think, you probably did something a little bit more, special to kind of get him there, because I posted on Facebook, thank you BYU for paving the way, I'm paraphrasing, for paving the way for Zach Wilson to become a New York Jet. And I posted that and I sent it to you on your page, and then you responded, make sure you take care of my nephew. You know what I mean? So it hits a little bit deeper. You guys have a relationship. So you did something that made him want to go to BYU. You know what I'm saying? So for you to say something like that, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I did. Go ahead.
Hey, T, we had done an event a few years ago with the BYU football team in New York. That's when we first met. And one of the things that I took away that was big from that was how much of a family BYU felt like. And I think that's one of the things that Brandon's getting at right now. Like, you said, you didn't really sell anything more than the campus. But how do you think that family type atmosphere of, a lot of the people being actual family and a lot of the people feeling like family at BYU may have swayed Zach to come to Brigham Young?
Yeah, our head coach, Kalani Sitake, he's a family man. One of the things that was that's come out in the news lately was when the coach from Tampa Bay came out and posted and said, if coaches are missing their kids' sports events or recital or anything like that, he's not going to have them on their staff. Family is more important than anything. Even, if you can't finish your X's and O's before your son's soccer game, you're not doing it right. You got to, time management. And so that's what our head coach pushed, was the family unit. And that was his only recruiting thing is, telling Zach, he said, hey, you can go anywhere in the country. You can go to Boise State. You can go anywhere you want. The only thing I ask you is to make sure you listen to where your mom wants you to go, because your mom's been there from the beginning, And all of these guys that say, some of these parents I watch, they tell the kids that, hey, I'm going to let my son make a decision where he wants to go to school. And one of the things that Kalani, Coach Sitake, emphasizes to the parents is, you've been telling your son for the last 18 years how to dress, who to date, all of these things. And all of a sudden, you're going to let him make the biggest decision of his life And you're going to say, you make your own decision where you want to go to school. You guys know where the best place to go. And so that was our recruiting pitch was, as long as your mom is okay with it, wherever it is, it could be to a Division II school, it could be to a junior college, wherever she tells you to go, you should listen to her because she knows more than anybody else in your whole life. And so I think that was the big catch was when Kalani sat down on that meeting, the exit meeting from the visit, and just kind of told him, say, hey, we're going to be a good team. Whether we go to the national championship is far off. But one thing I can promise you as parents is I'm going to take care of your son like he's my son. I am going to make sure that he gets a degree. I'm going to make sure that he does all the right things outside of football because football is going to take care of itself. And I think that was the selling point. And if you go, sometimes me, because I grew up with Kalani, I know the head coach ever since we were young. We grew up in Laia. Then we moved here to Utah, and we went to college together. We were teammates. Sometimes when he talks, man, I get choked up. I feel like, man, I want to sign and play for you too, kind of thing. So I think that's the catch right there is the environment that it's at and, the feeling of family. That's the true feeling. And I've gone to a bunch of other programs outside of BYU, and it's so different at BYU because we have to recruit. One, we got to recruit older kids to make sure we can compete. And the other, we have to have something different from other programs. And I feel that it's the true family feeling. That we are a family. The head coach is the father of our team, and he takes care of all of these kids, no matter what they need.
That is a fantastic story. And, when I went out there and I first met you, I'm a guy going out there to work. I work in this business, and I go out there to shoot a pilot. I don't know you from anything. I first meet you and your family. I walk into layaway on the first day, and I don't know if you remember this. There's reggae playing on the screen, a music video for a reggae artist, but he's Polynesian. And I'd never seen that before. And I'm Jamaican. And I'm like, oh, snap, look at this. And then basically just the warmth from your entire family. I walk in there as a stranger. And then my last day there, I'm doing that Warriors dance with your entire family. You remember that?
The haka.
Yeah, so I'm doing that. So I walked out of there like, oh my gosh, this is like a great experience. So basically, long story long, yes, I definitely believe what you're saying as far as like family, because I felt like I walked out of there with an extended family from people who I didn't even know anything about 3 weeks prior. So, it's amazing, and that's fantastic. And hopefully Zach Wilson will come to the New York Jets with that same mind frame, and Robert Saleh as well, to make him part of the family. And hey, T, I know that you still have a relationship with Zach Wilson and his dad. So listen, if he wants to be family and come on our show, we'll give him that virtual hug right here as well,
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. So I'm going to talk to you. All righty.
So I'm going to jump in here. I think, whatever, you guys did, I mean, obviously it takes a village in order to raise these kids nowadays. Right. And I think he's got an excellent village, and it's great to hear from folks like you, about how you impacted him in his life, at Utah and everything. And, he was on the Michael Kay show. I'm not sure if you're familiar with, but it's a radio program here in New York. And this guy was on for 20 minutes. They peppered that dude with questions, and he was so professional, answered every question. It's like he was born for this, right? And I really think that this guy is going to have success here in New York. Just the mindset that he has going out there. They're like, do you expect to start from day one? He's like, no, I got to earn the job, right? I mean, I got to go out there and, in the locker room, I have to, on the field, every single play, go out there and earn that job. So I was really impressed by, that 20-minute interview. And it's tough for a guy coming out from, Utah to go out to New York City, and the media, from that perspective, the amount of attention that's there, and to be able to with so much grace that he did, at least, on day one, right? Do what he did. So impressed with the village that he has there at Utah. Hopefully some of that will be able to transition over to New York City, because it's a long flight from Utah to New York, I'd imagine. So I'm hoping that, that village rubs off and some of them kind of are able to make the jump, geography wise.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to that entire interview as well. And my other takeaway was that, he said in no uncertain terms, he's going to be in New York by himself. His parents were not making the trip in terms of, trying to establish residency, close to Florham Park in New Jersey. So I'm sure he'll need some support on a regular basis. But what I did also hear, not necessarily in this particular interview, but that he already has a relationship with some of the youth football leagues in the 5 boroughs. So that's a pleasure to hear. I mean, that's in advance of him being drafted. So look, we are all super excited that this young man is here. I mean, you established that, you said that he's 6'1", but I heard that he was 6'2". Somebody told me he was 6'2". So, I'm gonna lean on. Right. I'm gonna lean on that. You be quiet, T. You be quiet, T. I'm gonna lean on that. I don't care. He could be 3'5". He plays like he's 6'10". So
yeah,
look,
the funny thing is, when he was a junior going into his senior years, I think he was probably 6 feet. And so at the time, recruiting was different. When he came on campus, he was almost 6'3". I think he's 6'3" now, but I couldn't believe how tall he came just within, a year of graduating. And so, he plays 6'8". I mean, he is a monster, and he believes that. And that was the funny thing is, we just had hired Jeff Grimes at BYU. So he wasn't even in the office. He was still coaching at LSU at the time. But he just so happened that weekend that he was on his trip, that Jeff Grimes was coming on campus just for 2 days. And so we were able to get Grimes in with Zach real quick, just kind of talk, tell him, and they didn't know each other. Grimes didn't even know who we were recruiting, because he was still on the LSU staff, and he was just trying to figure out, moving up. When was he coming up? They still had a bowl game and all that stuff. So when he came on, he wasn't as tall as he was when he actually got into school. And so, and he was the one, and everyone was like, we might need to go get a JC quarterback, because, just in case, we don't know if the Zach is going to be the guy. But I told them that Zach, of all people, believes that he is coming in to compete for a starting position as a true freshman. And I said, I don't know if it's true or what it is, but this kid actually believes that. And I'm a firm believer of, you believing it into existence, or you talking it into existence. Right. And that's how Zach was. Zach said, man, I'm not coming in to learn. I'm coming in to take this spot. It's going to be his to lose, but I'm going to come in to take it. And so I think that attitude that he has is changed. And, I want to get to, I'm sure we're going to get to that character part about,
you know what, T? Let's pause for one moment, because that's the next thing that I do want to talk about. But I want to give Captain Kyle, the Jets just recently picked. And if you could talk to us about who the Jets just picked, and elaborate.
Love it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, so with the 107th pick, the Jets select Michael Carter, running back out of North Carolina, the running mate to Javonte Williams. And as anybody who watches this show knows, we are 4 for 4 in our positional draft picks right now. We also predicted the trade up to get Elijah Vera Tucker, or at least I did. These turkeys didn't want to do that.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I mocked that out for a whole month beforehand. I didn't think we'd get up that high though, and I didn't want to give away that much. But that's another topic.
But that's not a lot to give up. But go ahead.
I was trying to trade the Darnold package for to trade up. But anyway, we all wanted Kenneth Gainwell out of Memphis in this position, but what we got is a very similar player to Kenny Gainwell in Michael Carter, very as far as size measurables.
Yep.
Arguably a better player at a lower draft position. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think that Michael Carter falling to us at 107 is it's very similar to like the Jeremiah from Notre Dame falling as far as he did, and it is a pick that we didn't expect to be able to make at 107. When our Embry Thomas, who we picked at 107 in our mock draft, was way gone before this too. So the draft is weird in that way, but we just selected Michael Carter. We're now at pick 7. The Detroit Lions have 2 picks back to back, pick 7 and 8 of the 4th round, 112 and 113. Jaguars picked a D tackle out of USC, Tufele. Darren Hall out of San Diego State was drafted by the Falcons, cornerback. Des Fitzpatrick, Louisville wide receiver, to the Titans to fill that Corey Davis spot probably. James Hudson, offensive tackle out of Cincinnati.
I like him.
And Cam Sample from Tulane, who many like as an edge guy, going to the Bengals. So our next pick is what?
146.
146.
And all of our picks so far have been on the offensive side of the ball.
Yep. And we said quarterback, interior offensive lineman, wide receiver, and running back. And so far, we are directly on point. Just the way the board has fallen is a little different.
And that is why I stated earlier that the pundits, the analysts, and maybe the Jets front office themselves watch this show regularly. We are borderline gurus here. All right? We are borderline gurus here. And you know what? I might even scratch that.
Yeah, scratch the borderline, bro. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm scratching the borderline. That's a false descriptive, okay? We are gurus, all righty? We're about to pick up the mic, you know what I'm saying, like guru, because we are gurus. How about that, all righty?
Gangstar got to be the short shot.
You know that.
Nice and Smooth got to be the short shot.
Oh, Lord.
We about to do that DeWick song real quick, you know?
Dun, dun, dun.
Yep, 1992 style. So
when I reminisce over you.
You know that, my God. Yeah. So, T, my brother T, let's go back to what you were going to say. So basically, critics, right? And, football pundits, like I was saying, they, there was a lot of reports about Zach Wilson's character. And when I first heard it, I was like, I kind of don't like it. Okay, maybe he is fortunate and blessed enough to maybe come from a little bit more money than, say, the average person, or maybe a bit more money than the average person. I don't know. But to just negatively stigmatize someone's character because of maybe they may be more, affluent than, say, the next person, I think is false. I think character is as character does, and you need to judge people on an individual basis. And you were just talking about just the family atmosphere and everything. Why don't you speak to us and our audience about Zach Wilson's character? Hey, T, we can't hear you right now.
You on mute?
I'm muted. Yep.
All right.
Somebody muted me. Who muted me, man?
Wasn't me.
Somebody muted. It wasn't me. I'm like,
You told me to mute you. Hey, you told me to mute you if you carry on too far.
man, the gurus just muted the dang host. So let me just tell. So the family background is Zach's mom is a Neeleman. The Neelemans started JetBlue, and so they started and sold JetBlue. They opened up another airlines and they sold it. But while they were the owners of JetBlue, they had money, but they were giving so much back to the community. They started. What is that? They started another league out at by the University of Utah, donated all the money. They did so much things giving back. So yes, they did have money. They grew up with money and all that kind of stuff. But I think people don't understand that that's the family that has money that giving back, right? So And then you come fast forward to Zach and his family. You know, Zach was driving when he was a freshman at BYU. He was driving to California, taking his own lunch because he didn't want to bother the family that he was staying with. I mean, you know, I'm sure he probably had money that he could have started his, you know, paid for his own food, eat at fancy restaurants. But he made peanut butter sandwiches, you know, that he could eat. Like, he came from really humble beginnings from the dad and the mom training him. Like, everything's got to be earned. And he believed that. You know, he just like what he was saying, you know, he's not coming to New York to be the starter. He's coming to earn a spot there, you know, and that's the mentality that he has. He's a blue-collared, hardworking kid, you know, and he did that all through college, you know, even through high school. And so I don't, you know, I can't speak for his, you know, the Neeleman side or the family side about him coming from money and them talking about, you know, just because he has money. Like, you know, I know Brandon has more money than all of us, but look at him. He's still wearing that. That ain't even a real logo that he got on his shirt.
Oh, it's
You
real.
know,
It's real. I don't know what you're talking about.
He looks real humble.
yeah, he got that shirt. He got that shirt from Chinatown. He went over there. And bought
What did they say? What did they say? I am from humble beginnings. You are from
Yeah.
humble endings, brother.
He just called your sweatshirt a fugazi is what
I know he
just
did.
Wow.
I think the most expensive thing I'm wearing right now are these kukui nuts that you
I was just about to say that, man.
know?
But as far as his character, I mean, you talk to this kid, he is so humble. He'll go and talk to anyone. He's not, and I don't think he'll ever get to that point to where he's too good to go and talk to kids and do all those things because he understands where he came from. You know, he was a 2-star recruit coming out of Utah.
Yeah.
And, you know, he wasn't heavily recruited like all these guys. And he had to go to these Elite 11 quarterback stuff. And everyone was hyping up all this 6'5" and all these other quarterbacks where, you know, he is now I think he's the best quarterback in the draft. I mean, the Jets, you know what I mean? Obviously, they did their homework and watched the show and just said, you know what? We're going to listen to these guys when they tell us to go get Jet.
Hold on, T. Hold on. You said that the Jets, they did their homework and then did what?
Listen to your show and say, you know what? They're going to tell us what to do. We might as well do it. And if the New York Knicks could do the same thing and listen to you, man, they might win another NBA championship as well.
Have the Utah Jazz won yet?
No, I'm not a Jazz fan, though.
Are you not?
No.
Who do you like?
The Lakers show, man.
I knew he was going to say the Lakers. That's all right, though. That's all right.
On to the next topic.
So that everybody out west says, I'm a Lakers
Let's
fan.
move on to the next topic.
I mean, but can we stay here for just 1 second though? I mean,
go ahead.
When you look at Trevor Lawrence and you know how he's been the number one guy like his entire time, right? So you talked about the fact that he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder, can't manufacture one. But what you think about Zach Wilson being a 2-star guy, right? Coming in, having to earn everything that he's been given, had to battle for his job as a sophomore as well, right? Coming back from shoulder surgery and everything, and to have the best year of his career that third year, and to show so many phenomenal things on the football field. I mean, there's a sharp contrast between that number 1 and number 2 pick. And I love where he is, man. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and you know he comes to work every day with that, and I think he's going to do an excellent job with the New York Jets.
Absolutely.
Yeah, T. We were talking a little bit pre-show about you know this title that you have from the draft of Mr. Irrelevant, and how I kind of think it's a misnomer in a lot of ways because. The modern draft is only 7 rounds, whereas it was originally 16 plus and then 12. And that's really when the Mr. Irrelevant title came about. But you were Mr. Irrelevant, quote unquote, in a 7-round draft. You know, in the modern NFL, it's really important that a front office get the guys that they want in that 7th round so that they don't have to vie against others in a free agent battle to try to get them. So maybe talk a little bit about what the experience of being the last pick in the draft was for you. I think you got a free trip to Disneyland, right?
Yes. So, just a quick history. I graduated from high school in 1992. I had my son when I was in high school. I was 16 years old. And then I had my second son when I was 17 years old. So in the 90s, having children, it's kind of taboo, especially with sports, because they didn't know how to deal with you. Do we put you in the same dorms with the other kids, or do I can't get you another dorm where you can house your kids? So, graduating in 92, 2 kids. My wife was pregnant with number 3. I end up walking on to BYU in 97. So 5 years later, 5 years removed from any kind of sports. And my whole goal was to just go and get my education. My mom wanted me to grab my degree. So that's why I went to BYU. And by 97, there was a lot of guys that had children already on the team. They were returned missionaries, so they're a little bit older. And so I fit in right in that group, a little bit older than the guys that they had there. So going on and playing, it was cool, but it wasn't my whole goal. Like, man, if I get a chance to dress up and wear the uniform, I mean, that'd be so cool. Sitting out 5 years, all of a sudden I'm playing. And so Mike Wilson, to reference Mike Wilson, who's Zach's dad, would tell the story too. He said, man, I graduated with this kid. When I saw him at BYU 5 years later, I was like, where has he been? Did he fall under a rock and then someone just discovered him? Like, my years are already like, he's already done with all his eligibility. And then now I'm a freshman coming in. So I go into school, obviously it'd be awesome to get a chance to go to the NFL, and so I didn't know anything about this Mr. Irrelevant thing. And so when they called me, they said, hey, you're our first married guy. So we want to fly you and your whole family up. And we have this celebration it's a week-long party in Newport Beach. And I was like, I'm Polynesian, right? He goes, yeah, we want to fly your whole family. So Mel, my daughter's going to contact you and we're going to book everything. So I was like, okay, well, so with that being said, the Mr. Irrelevant thing, there's a new rule that you can only bring one person. and if you Google it, it's called the Ofa Hengawe rule. It's named after me in the NFL books forever. And basically what it says is you can only bring one guest because 2001 Mr. Irrelevant Tavita Ofa Hengawe from BYU bought 62 people.
You sure you want to do that?
Yeah. And the best thing about it is that's what they recorded. But when we went, so the whole trip, I mean, it is the best thing that could ever happen to a draft pick. I mean, they fly you and your whole family out first class. When we landed, Jerry Rice was on the mic and said, hey, we'd like to welcome Mr. Irrelevant to Newport Beach, California. And the whole plane goes crazy. And then they have limos driving us, everywhere. And so it's a whole week of partying festivities. And when you go to Disneyland, they shut the park down in one section and they bring all the characters to play with my kids. So like Mickey and all of them over there. But when we got to the front gate to enter, he gave me 100 tickets and said, hey, this is for your family. Make sure you use them, and so, okay. At the end of the day, I gave him 1 ticket back. So they actually paid for 99 people that whole week of food. I mean, I'm talking all steak and lobster and everything, because they basically asked me before I got there, what are the things you like to do? Who's your guys you look up to and all these things, and I told them what was cool. I told them that my number was 91 when I played at BYU. And the reason why I chose it was because of Dennis Rodman. And I told him, I said, man, I loved watching him. Those were the years of the Bulls, the Bulls were on their run. And so they had Dennis Rodman host a party for me. and it was cool. Just imagine me and Dennis Rodman wearing the colorful bra, taking pictures in the club. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, that experience alone, I still take that title of Mr. Irrelevant just because of that. That's the Salata family. They're actually from New York, that created that whole Mr. Irrelevant Foundation. But yeah, I think that's my whole purpose in life. You know what I mean? Is to be irrelevant, but to be relevant. Like to help kids and to give back to all the stuff, and that's why I enjoy that name. I mean, it is fitting. And and during the draft, I remember getting on the phone and doing a show with the number one pick, which was Michael Vick.
Oh.
And I told him, say, hey, Michael Vick, you got millions more than me. You got all this money, but you didn't go to Disneyland. He would be like, and I go, yeah, there's only a few people that they shut the park down and bring those characters to come. And that's the President of the United States and Mr. Irrelevant.
Jeez, man.
That's amazing.
You almost
That's a
bankrupted
great
the
story.
fund, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It probably took him a couple
Yeah.
years in order to recoup from you, bro.
You were
Still
almost,
recouping.
almost the last Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, they're actually still recouping from it because I went like 5 years ago, and they said, hey, we want to bring you up because it's kind of I think it was like the 30-year anniversary of Mr. Irrelevant or whatever it was, and we want you to come so you can talk to the guy. And he goes, but we can only fly you up. I said, you got to fly my wife up. He said, yeah, we're not in that budget anymore.
So hey T. So then when you went back there, like and you got to see him again, did he like give you the fake handshake and roll his eyes at you?
No, he did. What's cool is it's just like how you experienced when you came out to Lehigh. We went there and we did. There was a dinner. There was a big dinner that they they honored me with. Slater, what is it? Jackie Slater or whatever his name is. Jesse, like all the Hall of Fame guys gave a speech, and my mom made leis for the entire party. So then my mom made, I think, 200 flower leis, and we gave it to everyone that came over there. Just kind of a thank you. My mom was in tears the whole time, and my parents came to America and they still barely speak English. They came here on a mission to come and build the Polynesian Culture Center back home in Hawaii. And so my dad ended up getting his degree there at BYU Hawaii. And so, it's kind of that's the culture that we have. And so that's what was cool, was we gave back to them. And still to this day, their family, we're still close to the Salata family. So, yeah, that's as much as you're going to get from me, man. I don't like to talk about me. I think it's this thing is all, about Zach, and New York is going to love him. New York, the city is going to love him because he's a good kid and he's not going to get in trouble and he's always going to give back. I mean, you might see him at a small little orphanage, just throwing footballs with the kids without telling anyone. And people are going to spot him and go, man, that's Zach Wilson. That's not normal or whatever they call it. I mean, but he really is a humble kid. He comes from humble backgrounds. And I tell people all the time, you can tell the way the kid is by looking at the parents and the surrounding that he's with, all his friends. And he comes from great parents. I mean, his dad is the most humblest guy that you'll meet with such a big name son, and so, I don't know what they're going to call him. I mean, they can't take Hollywood, what is it? Broadway Joe. Maybe they could do Hollywood Zach or, I don't know what name they're going to give him, but he's the city, and I like that about what the coach said that, the city is going to lift you. You don't have to worry about coming here and building the program. The city is going to carry you. You just have to do you, be the best you kind of thing. So right. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch him.
Yeah, I think that the thing about New York fans is that we go hard either way. We love hard and we hate hard, and there's a really thin line between those two things. But if you look at like the way the Knicks are this year and how people have come back or we're just waiting for something to cheer for, and you bring somebody in there like Julius Randle and the way that the city has lifted him up, to an all-star status. I think that I hope for the same trajectory with Zach and his effect, and not just Zach, but the other guys that they drafted too. They have put a lot around Zach, and it's nice to see that this new direction is going in a direction we like, and that I think is going to be good for your guy for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Let me tell you, it just feels good just hearing these these stories are just reinforcing my vigor for Zach Wilson. Because to be honest, yes, I'm going to pat myself on the back. Months ago, I feel like I discovered him when the Jets season was all but lost at the end of November, and I started watching tape on Zach Wilson, and I was like, guys, this guy, he's the truth. And we were going through our whole Sam Darnold thing, and listen, we wish Sam Darnold well. He's another high character kid. I got to meet him once. Actually, I got to meet him twice, and his parents, and his mom actually, and just very nice people. He's a nice kid, and I wish him well in Carolina. It's just really good to hear these things about Zach Wilson, especially when we were hearing other things about him. And I'm just happy that someone close to him and his family can kind of reinforce that and put a stamp on it. Like, no, you're actually getting a good kid. You're getting a high character kid. You're getting a great football player who's looking to ascend. And you're getting a humble kid, but also still confident as well. You know what I mean? And I love that. And I hope that he's confident enough to appear on this show, and also humble enough to one day appear on this show, just showing that, like, us grassroots, down home, everyday football fans of the New York Jets, we welcome him, and we're ready, like I said, to give him that virtual hug. So,
Yeah, we're not part of an orphanage, but Brandon has a shirt from the orphanage, so maybe that'll qualify us for something that he could just on the low, just kind of come to the show.
Brandon joined the army.
Yeah, I can't tell from here. I can't tell from here, but it looks like it says MFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also says the Mets. Yankees. How about that?
What are you saying? I know you're not talking about the Yankees right now. They ain't doing that well.
We both suck right now, so
right. So they don't even. You want to go there? You really want to go there?
Talk to me in August. Don't worry about that. We'll be.
The Mets are in top 40. They have no hits being at all.
Hey, no.
Really? Oh, you want to go? Is it? Oh, okay. It's 3-1. We can do that at the end of the year. We can do it.
B.
Yo, what's up?
B. Man, I just pulled up to that tournament, but man, I appreciate you having me. I'm honored, and I'm going to make it happen. I wish I could have done it this weekend, but Zach, I'll get Zach on this thing. Zach would love to get as much publicity or much help as he can in the state of New York, to push him. So his younger brother is actually my quarterback now. He's a freshman.
Okay, and what's his
name?
Oh.
Isaac Wilson.
Friday.
So he just picked up a BYU offer and an LSU offer.
Okay.
Nice.
Right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure.
Just convey to him that we are here for him. We can't wait to see him on the field, and super excited. So I'm happy about all the weapons the Jets are getting for him.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And
yes.
Can't wait to see him on the field, and at his convenience, we'd be more than happy to have him on the show. And and just to let you know, as you can tell, T, it's very laid back, but it's also very, we know our stuff, and it's a family show, man. Yep. You popped on here, and it was just like family right here. I feel like
it's all love, baby.
Guys, my co-hosts who haven't even met you until right now, I feel like they just this 45 minutes of having you on the show that they kind of know you already. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's family here.
Yeah.
Other than living in Seattle, I think you guys are. I think you guys are.
Dang.
My nephew's a receiver over there for y'all.
on the Seahawks?
Yeah,
Which guy is that?
John Ursua.
Okay.
He lived with me for 3 years from high school. But hey, my game is about to start,
All right,
and
man.
I don't want to be rude. And
No,
but
you're
I
do your
appreciate
thing,
you guys.
T.
All right, T.
Appreciate you,
Talk to
T.
Okay.
Appreciate you. All right, man.
All right, take care.
All
All right.
Your background's terrible. See you later.
I think that was Miami.
That was rude. I mean, look, is he gonna want to come back on the show? Good grief, he's killing the man.
Nah, I mean, he was on the show in the pre-production for even longer than that. So
I know that's
he spent some time with us.
All good.
Spent some time with us.
I love this energy.
Hey guys, I got some big updates in the draft. You
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like New England went out and got the 2021 version of LeGarrette Blount in drafting Ramondre Stevenson out of Oklahoma with the 120th pick.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, you know what?
I don't like his running style.
When I love the way he looked in the bowl game. When he played, he had those little like twinkle toes for a 250-pound back, but he does also have a record of character issues and things like that. And a lot of the scouting reports say he's kind of a one-trick horse. He's just really a downhill runner and not much else. Although that's not what I saw in the bowl game. But that's not bad value at 120. The linebacker Jabril Cox went to the Cowboys.
That is a very Cowboys pick. Very.
It's also a huge value pick.
It is
at 115.
Yeah.
It depending on how you feel about this guy's resume, having been like a star at North Dakota and then leveling up instead of opting out and going to LSU and playing the year at LSU, I think this guy is going to be a very, very productive player on the NFL level in the right system. Yeah. Another linebacker, Derek Barnes, went to the Lions along with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Also, I think both high-value picks where they were picked. Chris Rump going a little higher than I thought he would, based on the 1,000 mocks that I've done.
Who was this style? Who was that?
Chris Rump. He's an edge, OLB from Duke.
Yeah.
And talking too, like we had all mocked Kuntz at one point or another from Buffalo as a 6th or 7th round pick, and he goes in the 3rd round to the Raiders yesterday, which was a head scratcher to me. That you would pick that guy in the 3rd round. He's really just a pass rusher. He's not really a runs guy. He has no record against the run.
Sometimes with the Raiders, it's not necessarily are you picking bad players, but it's where are you picking them, right? If nobody else is looking at them in that round, you could get them later and potentially get somebody else, as far as value is concerned, in a different round. And I understand they have a different chart than everybody else. I get all that. But, again, that's somebody that nobody was probably looking at that point. So maybe you could have got him a round or two later. That's all.
Yeah, but Brian, how's that chart working out for them? You know what I mean? Is it equaling, AFC West titles? Does it equal playoff appearances? They barely beat the Jets, that are the second worst team in the league, and we kind of gave them that game.
Last play.
Well, they looked good out the chute last year. If you was talking about the first quarter, first half of the season, they beat some solid teams. Did they beat the Chiefs? So they had some good wins on their resume, some quality wins. They tailed off at the second half of last year. Part of that was almost losing to us as well. But anyway, I just, I think they're building something. Only they know what they're building, because they're building it with some crazy, Lego blocks over there. But we'll see where they end up.
The only personnel moves that I like that they've made in the last 2 years are Josh Jacobs and Waller. And, they rolled the dice on Waller, who was, a recovering addict and everything like that.
Yeah.
And they hit it big on that. He's a great player. He's one of the most dynamic players in the league right now.
If we walked into their office, into the Raiders' office with our, top, 150 players, and then we compared ours to theirs, we'd be like, "What the heck are they doing? Like, what are you guys doing?" So would not
guys, what are you doing? Like we gotta get the magic eraser and erase all of this stuff and start from scratch.
Go ahead, coach, and then I want to say something.
The difference is that they have 10 area scouts working 365 days a year to evaluate talent, and we have lists. That's all we have, and we have YouTube
evaluations.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's apples and oranges to compare our process to theirs, but at the same time, I didn't see anybody mocking Kuntz in the third round. Anybody.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, some of these other teams took players that might have been forecasted to go in later rounds. I mean, the glaring pick that I saw that they took to me was Leatherwood. Leatherhead. What's his name?
Leatherwood.
It's Leatherwood, dude, not Leatherhead.
Right. Yeah. But honestly, I'd rather spend more time, discussing our picks.
Oh, absolutely.
Why you don't want to talk junk on other teams? You only want.
I don't want to talk junk on other teams. I'd rather elevate us than appreciate them. You know what I'm saying?
Kerry wants to lift this team up. He's gonna lift. He's gonna lift them up.
Lift this team up. You know what I'm saying?
I need when I hear lift them up, I think remember Byron, the musician that I think he leads a church band now.
Yeah, Elliott.
I think of Byron Elliott with a 100-piece gospel choir lifting up the New York Jets. That's the picture that comes to my head.
Right.
Yeah, lift them up. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's get into this. Let's talk about the Jets.
Let's lift up our depth chart. How about that?
All right.
Right now, it looks a lot better than it looked, Thursday morning.
That's right. That's right. It looks great. And can we start with AVT? Can we talk about that? Can I ask
one general question?
Sure.
Yeah.
Have we drafted 4 starters?
Yes.
Okay.
Or rotational pieces. I mean, so when you're talking about Elijah Moore, he's going to probably start off as a rotational piece. And when you're talking about Michael Carter, he's going to be a rotational piece. But
it's going to be guys that's going to see significant playing time.
Absolutely.
First year of rookie season, 100%, if not full on starting.
And are forecasted to end up as starters either by the end of the year or the beginning of next.
Yeah.
And I would also say it's not, and we've had this conversation before, it's not because the depth chart is so bereft of talent. That's the reason. These are just talented dudes, right? Yes. We selected 4 talented dudes at wide receiver, at running back, at guard, as well as quarterback. So these people could start on any team in the league, not necessarily just the Jets.
Yeah, that's how I used to do. I used to do the talent evaluations for my team in the same way, where we color code everybody on the team with a color based on whether they were a developmental player, a borderline starter, special teamer, a starter, or a starter on any team in our league. And it's funny that you bring that up, because I think that's the ultimate right there.
Yeah. Is
this a guy that would start on another team that would make another team's roster better? Are they the all division?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Are they in that level? And that's a great point, Brian, because I think that is really the measure of this. You're not going to hit all pros with every pick that you have. It's just not the case. You're not going to make Pro Bowlers out of every pick that you have. But if they can start on other teams, if they're coveted, if other teams' pro personnel look at your team and say, "I wish I had that guy,"
right?
Then that's a big thing. So let's unpack AVT here.
Do it. Let's unpack AVT with the 14th pick of the draft, and the Jets traded up from position 23 up to 14, and they traded with the Minnesota Vikings, They gave up pick number 66 and pick number 86 in the third round. So
Yep.
2 third rounders.
And 23.
Oh, well, yes, and 23.
Yeah.
To then therefore get the 14th pick in the draft.
So I will take credit.
Got the 14th pick and the 146.
Yes,
Yes.
146 as well.
Yes, 143. 143.
No, 143. 143.
143.
I will take credit for predicting that this trade up was necessary to get this player.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, for anybody that wasn't listening before, I mocked this out on our simulator probably about 50 times, where I went to every team from 23 to 10, from 22 to 10, and offered them the compensation package that we got for Sam Darnold. So essentially trading Sam Darnold and 23 to move up. And the furthest I could get with that was 16 with the Cardinals. So it's not really that far off that the Vikings took a better package in this year's draft than what I was offering, because most of the stuff I was offering was, you know, deferred to next year.
Right.
But I agree with Joe Douglas that you don't get Elijah Vera Tucker if he's your guy. You don't get him without moving up. You can stay at 23. You might have been able to get Tevin Jenkins.
You definitely were.
Brian,
definitely.
Yeah, like based on the way that the draft fleshed out.
Yeah.
Yes, you were. But it wasn't Tevin Jenkins that I coveted. Slater and ABT were the guys that I would trade up to try to get. And I'm very happy that they picked him. He can play left tackle for us at some point if Becton goes down, or if Becton moves on after his contract, his rookie contract is up. He can start immediately at left guard next to Becton, making the left side of our line elite, which is amazing, especially with a right-handed quarterback. And it gives us a little bit of room to work on center, right guard, right tackle over, and figure out what we want to do with that. And now Cam Clark, all of a sudden, maybe Cam Clark is your right guard. And McGovern stays as your center. And, you know, I don't dislike Fant as much as some of the other people, and as much as Brian hates his PFF grade and stuff like that.
I do.
I understand that. But just getting ABT into that left guard spot is a significant upgrade. And to be truthful here, if we get another guard, ABT could possibly be our right tackle also.
Yeah, and
so,
you know what else too? Let's just remember that we're going to have a completely different offense than we did with Adam Gase versus what we're going to have here with LaFleur. We're going to have a Shanahan-esque type of offense. Remember, we'd watch the games and we'd be like, how come there's no motion? There's no, you know, there was nothing to confuse the defense. They would just be static, and then they would run their crummy routes, and then Sam would
use crummy? You said crummy?
Yeah.
He did. I've heard that in like 7 years.
It's a family show. It's a family show. And then Sam would be just set up to fail, sacked, strip sacked, throwing a pick because of all the pressure. You know, there was nothing that was making the defense off balance. And that's what this zone scheme type of play action type of offense is going to do. Keep people, or keep the defense off balance. That's why I am, you know, I'm going to give Fant a little bit more grace, because he's a more athletic tackle than, say, your average tackle, and he can move around, and this offense is going to move around. So that's why also Elijah Vera Tucker is going to be good at guard. He is known to be able to move. His feet are good. He's got great feet. He's got great hands. He's sharp, and he can just he'll hit you too. So I like it, and I like the scheme that we're going to be going in, and I think it's going to work in our favor more than not. But we do need to address the right guard, and hopefully Joe Douglas will do it either with in this draft or with who we have, Cam Clark. Hopefully he's ready to step up and play that position.
So, I mean, for me, and you know, when we did the mock draft, I was the only one that was the dissenter, right? And said Tevin Jenkins is who I would go with at 23. And we already mentioned the reason, so I'm not going to go into that. So, but you think
Weren't-
about.
You weren't the only dissenter, though, B. I mean, it's not like you
I
were
thought it was
just-
3-1. No, I thought it was 3 AVTs to 1 Jenkins. I thought that's how it went.
Well, but hear me out. I looked at Tevin Jenkins as 1A. Like, I wanted Elijah Vera Tucker just a nudge above Tevin Jenkins.
Okay.
And I really liked him. So just to put that out there. But yes, I would have picked Elijah Vera Tucker over Tevin Jenkins, but just by a smidge. But go ahead, B.
So when you look at and again, I love AVT. I think this is great. I would have loved for him to drop to 23, but like Kyle mentioned, he wasn't going to be there at that point. But when you think about Tevin Jenkins, and Wyatt Davis was drafted at 86. That's one of our, third round draft picks that we gave up, not counting pick number 66 as well in that third round. Could we have walked away with more talent potentially on the offensive line as well? We could have drafted 2 guards and a right tackle potentially with that draft capital.
Could have had Creed Humphrey, I think, too.
Yeah, Creed Humphrey. No. Creed, I think, went earlier on in the third, or maybe did he go
went later?
No,
he went later.
Landon Dickerson went first. Landon Dickerson went first.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
so now you're thinking about Creed, Wyatt Davis, and Jenkins for AVT. Yeah. So this guy really has to be the guard of all guards, right? He's got to be the guy on Indianapolis right now. That's really what he has to be.
Can I make a counterpoint on that?
Sure,
Brian?
sure. Absolutely.
All right. So I think that when looking at talent evaluation in this draft and how this draft has worked out so far, I think that people feel much more comfortable with their grades on the top end talent on this draft than they do on the bottom end. And I'll give you a case in point. Drafted before Wyatt Davis, drafted before Creed Humphrey, Aaron Banks, guard out of Notre Dame.
Right.
Now, Aaron Banks wasn't All-American. He played with Eichenberg and Hainsley, and that whole Notre Dame line is good. But Aaron Banks was generally thought of as a less talented property than the other guys that we mentioned. And I think he went before Quinn Miners as well. So for an Aaron Banks or a Leatherwood or a Deontay Brown, if those guys are getting drafted higher by somebody other than the Raiders, that tells me that people are a little gun shy on their draft grades from for the top 50 below to 100. So I think you got a lot of differing opinions there. Whereas a guy like AVT, a guy like Slater, a guy like Darashaw, a guy like Penei Sewell, people did not feel like they lacked confidence on those grades. So to go up and get a guy that you're confident on the grade rather than somebody you're so on. And I don't know how somebody's not confident on Tevin Jenkins. I mean, that guy is a beast, and he's going to beast.
And whoever drafted him moved up in the draft to get him. So, and he was a potential late first rounder, ended up sliding into the second round, which is not unusual, if you're kind of slated in that 20 between 20 and 30 type number. Yeah. But and here's my retort to a degree. Creed Humphrey, Oklahoma. He didn't opt out, right? When you talk about Wyatt Davis, Ohio State. He didn't opt out. They had tape on these guys.
Got hurt.
Huh?
Got hurt.
That hurt what?
He got hurt.
He got hurt. Yeah. So Wyatt Davis got hurt, right? In the championship game, I believe. So
no, he got hurt midway through the season.
Semi-final game.
He was playing hurt.
He played hurt, but he wasn't out. Hurt. Like he still played.
No, he ended up getting hurt during either the semifinal game or the championship game.
He re-aggravated it during that game.
Yes, right. So he played hurt. He played through it. So he toughed it out, right? So he played games. At least you had tape on him, which is what I mean. He didn't opt out of the entire season like Penei Sewell, who now you're talking about, hey, you had some things you needed to work on, and you weren't able to work on them because you were sitting out an entire season. So then we can move on. But I just, I'm with you. AVT's the guy, and I'm putting my full support behind him. but he really has to be the guy, right? Because you had two potential guards, a center, guard, and tackle that you could have drafted, and you got a guard. So that's all I'm saying.
I'm confident that he's going to be the guy.
Okay.
And let me say this again. My thing has always been, when it comes to offensive linemen and the offensive line room, what I value the most is versatility, right? So when you talk about Tevin Jenkins and you talk about Wyatt Davis, and you talk about
Creed Humphrey.
Creed Humphrey.
Yep.
They are playing their position, and they're not going to another position. They don't have versatility to go to another position. Tevin Jenkins is not playing guard. Tevin Jenkins is a beast at right tackle, maybe left tackle, but he's staying at tackle. Creed Humphrey is the center. He's not moving the guard.
He can, and Creed.
He can, but you don't have enough tape on him to say, you know what, we're going to easily.
Yeah, you don't have reliable tape.
You're going to easily find him the guard.
That's fair.
Elijah Vera Tucker can play both guard positions and play both tackle positions, possibly at a high level at all four, right? So what he does is offer you the opportunity for flexibility if you have a need to, say, slide over somebody else who might not play that position as well, okay? Or be a swingman and compensate for an injury, right? Fant also is going to stay at tackle, maybe left tackle in a pinch, but his best position on our team is going to be at right tackle. So, the value that I have here for Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC is that he can play multiple positions at a high level. Now, to address the whole issue of trading up, I was never averse to trading up for him. I would rather have stayed and kept the picks at the time. But given the fact that the compensation that we gave up was just our third round picks, I had no problem with it. Look, we got 20 picks between this year and next. We're not making 20 picks. We don't have 20 open slots. So we have draft capital for the purpose of trading, right? So that we can get a quality player as opposed to a player that is quantity. I think we picked up for quality.
Oh, yeah.
I love it that you made that point, because I was watching, sports analysts, and they were saying basically the Jets had 21 draft picks for this year and for next year combined. And they said, we're not going to be picking 21 people, like individuals. Like,
you ain't paying all those people.
Exactly. So we needed to expect that they were going to use some of that draft capital, combine it to be able to shift and move and move accordingly. So I totally agree with what you're saying. And I love the points that you made about Elijah Vera Tucker's versatility, and not just being versatile, like a vanilla versatile. He's going to play
high level versatility,
every position, high level, like what you just said. So I love Tevin Jenkins, but I do believe that Elijah Vera Tucker is a little bit more versatile and can play across the line at a high level. And that's why I had him at 1 and Tevin Jenkins at 1A.
And I want to address one more thing, Kyle. Excuse me, Coach Kyle. Let me address you
with your proper name
appropriately. Don't you ever say, in the event that we do not sign Mekhi Becton, we will have the flexibility to put Barrett Tucker at the left tackle. Mekhi Becton's gonna stay at that left tackle for 22 years. Leave that man alone.
Kyle, you just warranted a Tweet Me, Pete Me segment.
I see that I've significantly tweaked you with my realism. I'm just keeping it real, as they say. My ear to the street doesn't say that he is going to go sign elsewhere. Love the big ticket, and I want to keep him here. But yeah. So just going back to the Aaron Banks conversation too. San Francisco drafts Aaron Banks at 48. Just going on ESPN rankings, he was the 6th ranked guard on ESPN rankings, the 92nd overall in ranking with a 73 grade, and he's picked at 48 with Wyatt Davis and all these other people on the board still, and they traded up to do it. Or I'm sorry, I don't know if they traded up or they traded down, but there was a trade involved in this pick. So I won't say they traded up. I'm not sure about that. But I just don't. I don't think that the talent evaluation with some of these later round picks is consistent across the board, and I think that we're going to continue to see that as things go on here.
Mm-hmm. All right. So listen, let's move on to pick number 34 and who we got at the 34th pick. And Brian is motioning, and I'm going to let Brian go ahead and start this one off because he loves this one.
I mean, yeah, can we say weapon? Right? Yeah. I mean, it's not a curse word. It's not 4-letter word. It seemed that way from how we've drafted over the last couple of years. And from, some folks in this podcast as well who are afraid to look at a wide receiver this high in the draft. Right? Let's look at that guy. Make that face.
I'll take me and you out of that conversation.
Exactly.
Brian.
Exactly. I said some. I didn't say all of the rest. Right?
That was me.
Right. Oh yeah. We don't need a wide receiver. Listen.
Face I just made. I made this one right here. I made this one.
Braxton Berrios is fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He's just fine. Yeah, it's great. Whatever. Listen, we need home run hitters on this team. And when you look at it, we are bereft of them. We make it so hard to score. And that's part of the reason with Darnold. Like, you throw the ball, you have Robbie Anderson. That was it. That was the only home run hitter we've had in years. And so what I read was that, first of all, had we stayed at 23, they were going to pick Elijah Moore at 23. So that's the first. Yeah, absolutely. I read that. So, when you think about that, they were really high on him as a player. He was a potential first-round draft pick. When you looked at the mock drafts that were out there, he was consistently going in the late first round. And so for him to drop to that early second round, man, and he's not somebody, although diminutive, smaller guy, like, 5'8", 5'9", 180 pounds, somewhere in that range. He's not just a gadget player. He was somebody that broke the record for receptions at, Ole Miss. And he did it in 8 games, as opposed to A.J. Brown, beast guy, A.J. Brown, right, who did it in 12 games, had 85 receptions. This guy had 86. And he's done it multiple years. Go ahead, Kyle.
A.J. Brown didn't have Lane Kiffin as a coach.
He didn't.
When he broke that record, and I think that the Lane Kiffin offense might have a lot to do with that. That doesn't take anything away from the accomplishment.
No. And I would say this, just to cap it off, and then I'll move on to you. Only 2 drops. I'm looking at a wide receiver. He can not only play the slot, you could move him outside as well. So you're looking for somebody that you're going to pick at the top of the second round that could do multiple things. He could be that gadget guy. He could be the home run hitter with a 4.3 speed. He can play the slot and play outside. So, when you think about somebody, I didn't think he was going to be there, at 34. So I really wasn't mocking him a lot in the second round. So when he was available and they snatched him up, I was like, yeah, bet. That's the guy.
And so he also returns punts and kicks.
Totally what I was going to say, what I was going to follow up with.
Go ahead, Gary. You can carry that on if you want.
No, I was going to follow up with that. I mean, the other thing that I just wanted to address, I'm sorry, I slipped out for a minute. My internet connection having some technical difficulties, is that we can still address offensive line after the draft when some of these guys are released that might be of higher quality than the center guard combination that we currently have on the right side. So that's something to look out for.
So I think that with Elijah Moore, there's a little bit of a deviation in the Joe Douglas character evaluation that we've seen in his first draft.
Sure.
There are some character issues with Elijah Moore. He did the whole dog pee thing in the Egg Bowl that lost them the game. He got a excessive celebration, personal foul after a touchdown in which he like got down on all fours and lifted his leg like he was a dog peeing on a fire hydrant, and which moved their extra point back 15 yards, which they subsequently missed and lost the game. So I would say that that's one incident. It's a mistake. And if Joe Douglas was going to do what Brian says and pick him at 23, that means that that's been fully vetted, that they feel like that was a one-off and not a real indication of what this kid's character is. If he is 75% of AJ Brown or 75% of DK Metcalf coming from the same program and coming up with the same guys, that's going to be a pure upgrade from what we got right now. And if he could be anywhere near those two, steal, absolute steal at 34.
And to address the character issue too, I think part of being a GM is that, you hire the coach that is going to command that locker room and is going to be a leader of men. I think that he hired the right guy as far as meeting those criteria. And if there's going to, it's sort of like, if the baseball analogy is that you allow the pitchers to play, and if somebody does something that is inappropriate, then you let the players manage the player. And in this particular instance, I think he's going to allow that locker room and the head of that locker room to manage those guys. And I think he has a level of confidence that they will, in fact, do just that. I think other than Elijah Moore, I think you guys touched upon Zach Wilson having some character issues, but I don't think that the issues that were brought up with Zach Wilson weren't, making decisions relating to being disrespectful to people. I just think that, they were questioning why he wasn't a team captain, coming into his, junior year, things of that nature. Not that, he decided to, get on all fours and look, act out urinating on, the football. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I mean, we have children. We understand. Yeah. We understand that young people make mistakes, and I think
choices, right.
Yeah. So, I mean, something that I've always taught the kids that I've coached is E plus R equals O. Event plus response equals outcome. So, if you make a mistake, if the event is a mistake, what you should be judged on character-wise is your response to the mistake. And I think that, in my YouTube vetting that I did on Elijah Moore last night, I think that his response to that mistake was to own it and and to say, I did something that cost my team a game in some way, and I feel terrible about it. And if I had that event to do over again, I would just hand the ball to the ref and go celebrate with my team. And I would never judge a kid based on a single mistake like that. And I bet Joe Douglas and his, scouts and his investigators, because that's really what a scout is they're going to go talk to your boss from the Dairy Queen when you had an after school job, and find out if you were a good employee. That's what a good scout does, is they dig. And I think that anybody who the Jets pick is going to be a good guy, and it's not going to ever be a repeat of that. Ja'Kai Polite that we picked, like a few years ago.
Terrible pick. That was a waste of a third rounder that we got too.
It was like taking a stack of $100 bills and burning. Yeah. Guys, by the way, if I leave, it's because I'm going to cry in the corner because the
Ian Book is off the board.
Yeah, the
Ian Book is off the. Oh my gosh!
The New Orleans Saints just drafted the next Drew Brees over. They'll have a year of Jameis Winston where they flounder a little bit, or they compete. I don't know. And then Ian Book, just like wearing blue and gold instead of black and gold.
Yeah,
will come in and
disregard my text. I said Chuba Hubbard went to the Saints. I
went to the Panthers.
He went to the Panthers. And yeah, I was going to say Ian Book. So I know Kyle and I definitely liked Ian Book. I liked Ian Book. Kyle was in love with Ian Book. But
I'd be mad at what the Panthers are doing for Darnold.
You know, but so guys, so we just unpacked the whole Moore pick. Let's move on to our next pick, which was the first pick of today's part of the draft.
Clarence Carter.
It was pick 107. All righty. And basically all these picks so far coincide with the order of what we wanted to address as draft gurus.
Absolutely.
For the New York Jets. You know what I mean? So
with that said, we would be picking a corner with the 143rd pick, correct?
Well, we would have picked corner at 107, but we picked running back.
Okay, but I'm saying as far as our order right now, if we want to go 5 for 5 in positional, we have to pick a corner next, correct?
Yes.
Tampa Bay just
well, not necessarily because we picked a tackle in the third round.
Well, we had no third round.
Right, but we didn't have a
So yeah, so the order is
jacked up a little bit.
Yeah, it's skewed.
But I would say still, you know, like you said, I think it should be a corner. I think it should be a corner. And I could argue that instead of picking the running back here, Michael Carter, that we should have picked the corner here. I'm happy with the pick. Don't get me wrong, but I think that there's still a glaring need in that defensive back room.
We were talking about this last night, though. Like, I don't think that the handful of corners that you have on your board right now are anywhere near equal to the value of Michael Carter or Gainwell.
Totally agree. Agree. You're not going to get an argument from me from there.
I actually did like a quick look through all the positions before I went to bed last night to see if there was anybody at any other positions that I would rank as a BPA that I would rather have than Gainwell. And I didn't expect, I didn't know if Carter was still going to be there or not. I think that I'm kind of okay with either one of those. But there wasn't a guy that jumped out at me that I said I'd rather have this guy than
I think in all of our that we did through the simulator, Carter was not there by the time it was time to pick Gainwell when we would text each other our respective mocks. So,
and see, the other thing that I would point out is that there is such a big gap between the Michael Carter pick and our next pick at 143, in that, you know, say you did not, or you chose not to pick up a running back at 107, specifically Michael Carter. Would he be there, or would somebody comparable be there at 143?
Nope.
But is somebody going to be there at 143 at corner that could help your team? And the answer to me is you pick up Michael Carter and you decide what you're going to do at cornerback at 143, 146.
And to your point, so 4 running backs have gone so far in the 4th round.
Right.
And versus 3 in the first 3 rounds.
Yes.
So when you're looking at it, this was the round in order to go and address running back. We can argue, Gainwell versus Carter. I think Gainwell, from my perspective, I liked a little bit better because of his pass catching chops. I thought he was better in that regard than Carter. I think Carter has the ability and soft hands, but just didn't show the production as of yet. But again, he was splitting time with Williams too, so you don't really know what he could do if he was full time. But I read up on him because I knew he was going to be there at the top of the 4th round, and started looking at the highlights, and I'm like, this dude is like a pinball, man, and he could take it to the house.
And he likes to protect his quarterback.
Yep.
Okay, which you love
Block.
there, you know.
And Gainwell is not that dude.
I would have loved for him to be a little taller, but again, when you add to the ability to home run hit, that's
It'd be
somebody that can
50.
hit the hole, hit a home run. And the same thing from, Elijah Moore as well. So 2 home run hitters we added in the third and fourth or second and fourth round. And so I love it, man. Can't argue with that at all. And when you look at how we set up our rookie quarterback with all offense through the first 4 rounds, I mean, when have we ever done this? I mean, we really have to look at history, man. We four picks all on the offensive side of the ball, man. It just makes too much sense.
Here's
You
one
don't
other
want to
thing.
see that history. That history is not flattering.
It's ugly, man. It's
One
ugly.
other thing. One other thing is that let's just remember that Carter played and had a 2020 season where Gainwell sat out. He
Yeah.
opted out.
Yeah.
So
Let's remember another thing. Carter played on the same team with one of those first 3 running backs in the first 2 rounds. He shared a backfield with one of the top running backs in the draft.
Yep.
yes, absolutely.
So I mean, you can't. You can't take that away. From the fact that if he was on a team where he was the only back,
Yep.
like Gainwell was,
Yeah.
I mean, his numbers could be,
At least double what
at
that
least
was.
double.
Yeah. And
then
put
when you
it this way.
recognize that,
Less
and then
tread.
When you recognize that, he still produced and he's got fresher legs as
Yes.
far as the running back
That's what I'm
position is
saying, yeah.
concerned. I mean, like, I love Gainwell, but I love this pick.
I'm not mad at it.
You
at all.
got
Yeah.
you got to give it to Mac Brown and Phil Longo. Mac Brown, head coach at North Carolina, Phil Longo, the OC. In having 2 players of that caliber and being able to showcase them in the way that they did, and then Daimani Brown also on that team. They have 3 of their skill players are legitimate top 4 round players in this draft, and that there's a lot to be said about that. I want to bring up Brian Shakur Brown. Tupac Shakur Brown is still available and is currently the number 3 ranked BPA on the ESPN board, because I'm using the ESPN board to follow the draft right now. It's probably the best one.
Yeah.
With a 90 overall rank.
Yep.
And a 14 rank in the position, a 73 grade. Are they using the PFF grade on ESPN or like the Kuiper grade?
I think they have their own grade. I don't think they're using the PFF.
Do you know if it's comparable?
Probably
Maybe.
not, because they had one of my cornerbacks that I like a lot, the guy from Montreal with the French name.
Benjamin Juiced.
Yeah, PFN anyway. Yeah, Benjamin St. Juice. They had him all the way down at like 161, and I think he's already off the board. Like,
he went early. He went way earlier than I thought.
Early.
Yeah, he went yesterday.
Yeah.
A couple of picks ago, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers picked Jalen Darden, who is an explosive receiver out of North Texas. Really, really good pick there for them. High value, in my opinion. We also have Trey Smith, guard/center out of Tennessee, who PFN had ranked much higher than ESPN does. Still on the board.
Wow.
7th ranked guard, top 100 player, and we're at 143 now. I didn't think he would last this long. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets go in that direction either, with that available there.
If they took that, I'd be happy. I honestly, I would take that player over a cornerback right now.
I would too. Based on Kerry Taylor's idea of a zone corner being what we are getting in the Robert Saleh defense, and the ability to perhaps sign Richard Sherman to fill that role, or another street free agent right now. Can I go back real quick to Elijah Moore?
You know what, Kyle? We do, because time is of the essence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We kind of have to start wrapping things up a little bit. Unfortunately, we can't cover the entirety of this draft today just because of a time crunch that we're in. So I kind of have to start wrapping things up. But I'll let you make this final point, and then I'm going to wrap it up. All right? So I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
Yeah, you really built that up. This isn't that big of a point, but
I just got a cramp in my back.
I'm just gonna
wrap it up.
I'm just gonna say that the comps that they were giving for Elijah Moore on ESPN and NFL Network last night was Steve Smith, which is a great comp. However, I think he comps more favorably to Antonio Brown. And watching the highlights, if we get either a Steve Smith or an Antonio Brown in the young years out of this dude, then we are cooking with gas, my friends. Yes.
I would do Antonio Brown without being the head case. Woo!
You don't like the head case? No. I heard that Elijah Moore needs a special helmet that only.
I'd rather him be the fiery competitor, always ready to fight you like Steve Smith.
I like Steve Smith, always with a chip on his shoulder.
Always.
He still has a chip on his shoulder as an announcer.
Oh, absolutely.
They said that the thing that Steve Smith used to say to people while he was playing was, "Ice up, boys. Ice up. I'm coming. Ice up. Get ready." So I love that. I'm never gonna forget that. That's a great one.
With that being said, I think we had a fantastic show today. I want to thank the man T. Ofahengawe, tight end out of BYU, drafted in 2001, Mr. Irrelevant, and also the head of the recruiting department for BYU, who back in the day, who recruited and got Zach Wilson to sign and to play for BYU. So I just got to shout him out because as Jets fans, we are ever thankful for Zach Wilson, by the way, and through my man and friend, T. Ofahengawe. So we just want to thank you very much. And great show today, fellas, man. I thought this was a bang-up show. And way to cover the draft and way to show our guru-isms all over the map.
Shout out to Big Green and all those on YouTube. Keep the comments coming, guys.
Keep them coming.
Bring those comments. And you know what? As us Baldwinites, I want to shout out Chris Weidman, praying for you that you heal up well. I watched the fight, and man, it was something else. It was tough to watch, but we're with you, man. And you're tough, and you're already pointing out how you're healing up. So you're tough, not just in body, but in mind and spirit as well, man. God bless you, and we're wishing you well, our fellow Baldwinite, Chris Weidman. And Ray Longo, keep coaching them all up, man. We love you too, my man. All right. So, guys, thanks for watching another episode of the BKBK podcast. We want to be able to keep bringing you the latest news and viewpoints of where sports and the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme. So keep watching. You can find us on Facebook on our BKBK podcast fan page. Find us on Twitter at BKBK podcast, on Instagram at BKBK podcast, as well as on YouTube. Just type in BKBK podcast on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button, okay? Have us go viral for once, man. Like, what's up? We've got some good shows out there. Let us go viral. Show out our guru-isms to everyone. We know what we're talking about, all righty, when it comes to the New York Jets and football as a whole. So, honestly, we kind of want to show that off a little bit. Why not? You know what I'm saying? We kind of want to pop our collar. Let's go for it. And if you can't watch us, you can listen to us on iTunes. Go to bkbkpodcast.com and tune in there. So that's it. Let's go Baldwin Bruins. Let's go Team BKBK. And let's go New York Jets, all right? Continue with the good draft. All right, guys, and we're out.
Yeah, and let's go Knicks, baby. Let's go Knicks, baby.
Go Knicks. Let's go Yankees.
Let's go Yankees.
Kind of sort of.
Mets.
Let's go Mets. Heal up, Chris Weidman. Heal up.
Yeah, Weidman.
Let's go Andy Ruiz.
Low blow.